Have you ever really thought about what happens in the first 60 minutes of a crisis? You know, it might feel like total chaos, but behind all that noise, there's actually a super structured plan. So let's pull back the curtain and see how it all works. Okay, picture this. A loud, blaring alarm just goes off. Your heart immediately starts racing, right? Well, what most of us don't realize is that the second that sound hits the air, a very specific plan is already kicking into gear. You see, that first signal, that alarm, it's not just noise. It's really the starting gun for a whole procedure that has one single, absolutely critical mission. And that mission is all about managing the chaos. The whole idea is to take a scary, unpredictable event and wrestle it into a framework that people can actually handle. Every single thing that happens from this point on is designed to keep people safe. So, the very first decision that has to be made on the ground is a really simple but crucial one. Do we get out or do we stay put? And this isn't a guess, it's a calculated choice that completely depends on what kind of threat you're facing. And this fundamental choice, it breaks down really easily. Evacuation is what you do when the danger is inside the building with you. Think fire or a bomb threat. The goal is to get away from it. Shelter in place is for when the danger is outside, like a tornado or an active shooter nearby. In that case, the building itself is your best protection. Let's dig into evacuation for a second. It's way more than just running for the nearest exit. It's a planned, orderly process of moving everyone to a predetermined safe spot, a muster point that's far away from whatever is happening inside. A number like this just shows you how much thought goes into these plans. 300 feet isn't just some random number they pulled out of a hat. Nope, it's the carefully calculated safe distance to protect everyone from the potential blast of an explosive device. Every little detail is about maximizing safety. All right, now let's talk about the complete opposite strategy, sheltering in place. You might also hear it called invacuation. Now, it can feel a little counterintuitive to stay put during a crisis, but believe me, when the danger is outside, locking down where you are is the absolute safest move you can make. And the steps for doing it are incredibly simple. First, you lock the doors to create a barrier. Second, you get away from the windows because those are the weakest points of any room. And third, if there's an airborne threat like a chemical spill, you shut off the heating and air conditioning to stop it from pulling that bad air inside. Simple, right? But so effective. But wait, that's only half the story. While all of this is happening, while people are deciding to stay or go, a completely different battle is being fought. And this one isn't for physical safety, it's for control of the information. Welcome to the golden hour. You know, that first hour after a crisis kicks off, it sets the tone for everything that comes next. The way an organization communicates in those initial 60 minutes, it will literally define how the public sees them for the entire rest of the event. It's that important. The number one absolute ironclad rule of crisis communications is that you cannot have silence. There can't be an information vacuum. Because if you don't get your voice out there right away, well, someone else will. And that narrative, it's going to be filled with rumors, speculation, and a lot of the time, just plain wrong information. The media, and especially social media these days, they will define the story for you if you don't get out there and define it yourself. So how do organizations handle this pressure? Well, they don't wing it. They use powerful, pre-planned tools that are designed specifically for this exact moment. This right here is a perfect example of a holding statement. Let's just break it down real quick. We are aware tells everyone you're on top of it. First responders are on scene, shows that the pros are handling it. Our priority is employee safety, shows you care. And we will provide updates, builds trust by promising more info. But notice what it doesn't do. It doesn't guess, and it doesn't admit any fault. So the whole point of this short pre-written message is to instantly project three things. We're awake, we're aware, and we're in control. That buys you precious time to get the actual facts straight while calming down those initial fears. Another really cool tool is something called a dark site. So before a crisis, a company's website is all about marketing, right? But with just the flip of a switch, they can activate this pre-built dark site. All the salesy stuff vanishes, and it gets replaced by a super simple page with just the essential emergency info. It instantly becomes the one place to go for the truth. So when you put it all together, the physical plan and the communication plan, you start to see this really powerful idea at work. It's all about creating order right in the middle of chaos. And this is really the key to everything. Panic happens when people have no idea what they're supposed to do. But when there's a clear plan, When your actions are laid out and the communication is controlled, that fear and panic get replaced by procedure. People know what to do. And that, at the end of the day, is what saves lives. So, let's just do a quick recap. The big takeaways are: every crisis is fought on two fronts, the physical one and the information one. The first big decision is always stay or go. And in that first hour, you've got to own the golden hour, using tools like holding statements and dark sites to show you're in charge. So I'll leave you with this one question to think about. Now that you've seen the plan, the structure that's hiding behind all that noise, does the thought of an alarm still sound like pure chaos? Or does it maybe sound a little bit like the beginning of control?